Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the West Side Lions podcast. Sadly enough, we do not have Ben today, but we have myself, Jacob, and we have Austin. How are you doing today, Austin?
Hey, I'm doing great, Ben. Another good week. Hard to complain.
Mm-hmm. It's great to start off the week with a Lions win. That is for sure.
Uh, that's not something you can say very often, Ben. Or,
Yeah.
sorry, Jake. I'm so used to Ben being here.
It's okay. Well, let's talk about that. This was our first win, and it was almost a year. It was 3 days under a year, I believe, if that's correct.
1 year, 1 day off. It was 364 days, which
That
is
is
nuts.
that is that's just disappointing and sad for a Lions fan personally, but we got a win, and honestly, this was probably the most pumped up I've ever been after a win. How did you feel after we got the win?
uh, I had no words. Um, so when Goff threw the interception, I kinda gave up, and I
Mhm.
I stormed upstairs, and then I was like, "Oh, man, no, I need to watch the game," so I pulled it up on my phone while I was, kinda screwing around doing other stuff, and then, uh so I watched probably the last, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes on my phone, and, of course, there was a delay between my phone and our TV downstairs, so, on the last drive, Um, I just hear my dad start yelling, and I'm like, "Oh man, way to give it away!" But oh yeah, I mean, hard to complain. W's W.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, we'll get into the details later. But I mean, what was
Mhm.
your reaction on that?
Well,
I
it
imagine
was a lot.
somewhat the same.
It was close to the same. I didn't storm off after the interception. I actually stayed. My my dad was calling his aunt in the other room, so it's just me and my mom in the room, and my mom doesn't like football that much, so it's just basically me watching the game. And this last drive, I was not I was trying not to get too worked up about it because I just we were put in this situation so many times this season, and it's every time it's just been a disappointment. So I wasn't
Yeah,
setting myself up for success personally. But when we on the last play of the game, I was on the edge of my seat, and when Amon-Ra St. Brown caught it, I'm not gonna lie, I got emotional. It was great, and just I feel like the part for me that just seals it off was how excited the team was. Because Goff
yeah.
ran straight to Dan Campbell, and then I believe it was Khalif Raymond that ran over to Amon-Ra, and everyone was just so excited. And in the locker room after the game, we're definitely not the greatest team yet. We're in a serious rebuild right now, and this is the start of it,
Yeah.
which is always the roughest part. And just to see a win like this is just phenomenal. And it doesn't hurt us at all in the draft yet because we still have the number one overall pick so far.
Mhm.
So honestly, this was great. This win was great, especially against a division rival like the Vikings, who are usually always a pretty solid team.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the funniest parts to me is that out of all the NFC North teams this last week, the Lions were the only ones to win.
I saw that. That I just out of like I would have never expected that to happen this season,
No.
or really any season. But I'll take it. I
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
I I think personally that the Vikings played well with what they had. I feel like the Lions played better overall. Um, but before we get into details about the game, we just need to mention here that Jared Goff won NFC Offensive Player of the Week. I don't
And that
I
that
Oh, go
that kind of
ahead.
goes back to the Lions being the only team to get a win. um, I mean, I imagine if any of the other teams would have, won, I don't see Goff getting that award.
Mhm.
But I mean, kudos to him though. He came out and he played a pretty solid game.
Yep.
Um, yeah.
I mean, this was definitely Goff's best game in my opinion because he sealed it with a win.
Oh, by a
But
long shot.
overall, he looked very accurate for the most part. There's a couple mistakes, but I mean, I don't expect him to be perfect. Obviously, we've seen him this season, but it's just I think he did very well, but I don't think he should have been player of the week personally, and I'm a Lions fan. But I just want to bring up this statistic. Did you know this was the Detroit Lions' first offensive player of the week since 2015?
Dang. That was
That
Calvin Johnson that won it last, right?
I'm pretty sure. I
It's been a long
I
time.
mean, I'll take it, but I don't think he was well deserved of that. But I mean, overall, congratulations, Goff. I'm not trying to bring him down now, but because that was a great win.
Yeah, definitely.
All right,
For me,
so
it
I
was
think
almost like a battle of the teams that wanted to lose more almost.
yeah,
I mean, I don't know. I mean, we just had, a few giveaways and
mhm,
just like I don't know what the Vikings were doing. I mean,
yeah,
yeah, they were without Adam Thielen, but they still had and Cook, but
mhm.
Alexander Madison's no slouch, and
And Justin
like
Jefferson is one of the top wide
yeah,
receivers.
yeah. I just don't know how they didn't do more against us, honestly.
Mhm.
So
And
hey,
one
we'll
last
take
thing,
it though.
yeah, one last thing before I get into players of the game and just overall outlook of the game. Am I the only person that is like shocked, genuinely shocked that Mike Zimmer has not been fired yet after this loss? I
Yeah,
think he's been a hot seat coach because he's not very consistent coaching. I mean, it's so far as a coach, as a head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, I believe every season he's coached, it's been playoffs, no playoffs, playoffs, no playoffs, consistently. It's just a pattern, and I personally, I'm shocked that he hasn't been fired yet. How do you feel on this?
yeah, I was a little surprised as well. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't follow, the Vikings a whole
Mhm.
lot, and I mean, I know he's been on the hot seat. Um, I think he'll last through the end of the season,
Oh yeah.
honestly.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I could definitely see him being gone after this season, though.
Yeah, I think the Vikings definitely need a good younger coach for them right now to, because I feel like the Vikings have a lot of potential right now,
Oh,
especially on that
definitely.
offensive
They got
side
tons of
of the
talent.
ball. It just needs to be executed correctly. So
Hmm.
we'll see about that. We'll have to play him 2 times forever, so we'll
Yeah.
see. But were there any players today that, on Sunday that stood out to you in specific?
Um, yeah, I mean our two wide receivers were, really they played really well. Amon-Ra and Josh Reynolds.
Yep.
Um, and I mean Hawkinson, he stepped up,
Mhm.
you know,
Yep.
he took a big step up this week.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean Golf he played really well too. I mean, like you said that I mean, yeah, I think that was probably his best game of the season so far. Um, and he kind of got the monkey off his back, got his first win without Sean McVay. Um, so
He's been 0 and 15 and 1. No, 0 and I don't know. It's been no wins though. It's incredible.
Yeah. Kind of lost my train of thought there. Shoot. Oh, I mean, okay, so what I said last week was I think that being without Swift was going to help us.
Mhm.
And I really believe that it helped us this week. Um I mean, yeah, we were without our number one playmaker on offense, but without him, everybody else was able to step up. And
Mhm.
like Hawkinson, I mean, he's been
Yep.
just kind of non-existent, the last like 4 weeks or whatever. And,
Mhm.
now he had a big game. Josh Reynolds is, kind of getting into the flow of it. I think he still has a pretty good rapport with Goff, so that's helped. And then, with Amon-Ra, he was able to, step up big, and he kind of took the role of Swift, I think.
Mhm.
Um, you know, with the short passes and stuff like that. So, I mean, I hate to say it, but I think, not having Swift, that really helped us this week.
Yep.
I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Personally, I think Swift is definitely one of our most valuable players on this team, if not the most valuable. But I feel like I agree with you there. I think that not having Swift gave us some opportunities to see what else we could do in the offense. And I think our run game wasn't the best, but Jared Goff definitely shined in the pass game. I mean, he
Mm-hmm.
didn't have just the 2-yard pass to Swift option this week. He had the pass 10, 15 yards to Amon-Ra or Josh Reynolds. So
Mm-hmm.
he did well in that
Yeah,
situation. So maybe now Coach Dan Campbell has some things to change in the playbook.
yeah, definitely. It's just been so hard for me to watch,
Mhm.
these last whatever weeks, and just watching us, not being able to throw the ball down the field.
Mhm.
So I mean, it was really nice to see that, Goff actually has the ability to throw it into tight windows and, get the ball down the field. Um, so I mean, I'm hoping that, with this next game coming up against Denver, that we can see some more of that. Um, I really don't want to see them revert back to what we've seen, the last 4 weeks, 5 weeks.
Mhm.
So we got the change, and it needs to stay.
Mhm. I I just want to add one more player before we talk about the Denver game, and that's Jerry Jacobs. Jerry Jacobs actually looked
Yeah,
great on
definitely.
Sunday against the Vikings, and a lot of the time he had to cover Justin Jefferson, and he did well for the most part. Justin Jefferson did get one pretty big catch on him, but Jerry Jacobs tackled him right afterwards. So Jerry Jacobs, as an undrafted free agent, has definitely been a player that I think can start on this team in the future.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Mhm.
I think I mean what Jacobs he's only allowed like one touchdown
Mhm.
against him like this whole season, which is pretty nuts, right?
And he's started most of the season,
Yeah,
so
it's it's
he's
crazy.
undrafted. He
I know.
barely made this team
Yeah,
too.
it's crazy to think about.
Mhm.
Um, but I mean, with those injuries that we've had, and guys have been able to step up, that's been huge for us because we're really being able to see the potential of our young guys right now.
Mhm.
And I've said this before that you know that's going to be huge for next year and the next year, and being able to build off of this. Um, yeah, I mean, it's just going to make it so much easier for the next few years that these guys will have all of this experience.
Mhm. I I'm definitely getting excited for next year's draft because of how well our draft has panned out this year. I mean, I don't think we've had a single miss this season, especially with undrafted free agents as well. So I'm
Yeah,
really
yeah.
excited for the draft because Brad Holmes definitely hit a home run there.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, I mean,
by
I can't think of any players that have been
mm-mm.
bad so far.
Yeah,
Um,
none like standing out bad. There's some players that have room to improve, which is everyone. But I
yeah.
mean, that's the part of a rebuild, and that's part of being on a team. You improve over time.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely.
hmm So next Sunday we play the Denver Broncos. I personally am not expecting much. The Broncos have been surprisingly pretty good this season. They just got off a loss to the Chiefs. That wasn't a good loss, but um, no loss is a good loss. But they did not do well in that game. I Denver's a pretty even overall even balanced team in my opinion. I think they have a lot of consistency at almost every position. Like, that's how I feel. I don't think there's one position that, weighs over the next personally. There's quite a few players I'm a little worried about for the Lions to face against, especially running back Javonte Williams on their offense. I'm worried about Jerry Judy against us, and on the defensive side, I'm worried about Bradley Chubb and Justin Simmons and Pat Surtain, who had a big week against the Chargers a couple weeks ago. So,
Yeah.
um, I think the Lions definitely have a bigger challenge this week than they did against the Vikings, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna have Swift back this week. So it's definitely gonna be an interesting game in my opinion. I don't see us coming out in a win, but I definitely see it being a closer game than some people may be expecting. I think after coming off a win like this, I feel like we're gonna have a lot of momentum going into the next game. So, how do you feel about this game against Denver?
Yeah. It's definitely gonna be a tough game. Um, Personally, I think their defense is a whole lot better than their offense is right now. Um,
Mhm.
uh, they're having some issues with kind of with the pass.
Yeah,
But I mean they've definitely got the weapons.
I think they have the players to do something. That's what I meant there. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
mhm,
I mean Jerry Judy, Cortland Sutton,
mhm,
Tim Patrick.
yep.
I mean they definitely have the weapons.
KJ
It'll
Hamler too is very good.
oh gosh, yeah. And I mean they got Teddy Bridgewater will be their QB this week.
Mhm,
He's been playing pretty decent when he's
mhm.
not been injured.
Definitely better than Goff.
Yeah, definitely better than Goff. So it'll be interesting this week. Obviously, I'm not really sure what to hope for. I mean, do we hope for like another win? Or tank for Hayden Hutchinson, or do we want the? I mean, where does the win put us at this week? Do you know?
Uh, it puts
Does
us.
that take us out of one?
It does definitely take. Well, it depends on if Texans and
Uh,
Jets and Jaguar how they do too. But the tie definitely put us in a weird situation. But honestly, I really want that number one overall pick. So I kind of hope we get it. I don't really see the point in us winning anymore, because we we're already in a situation where we're not going to make the playoffs. So
mm-hmm.
I don't really see the point. I'd take a win any day, but I really want that number one overall pick.
Yeah, definitely. So right now we are, according to Tankathon, we are 110-1. Jacksonville is 2-10. Houston is 2-10. Jets are 3-9.
Okay.
So I think if we win this week,
We'd be third
that
overall pick.
yeah, that would put us
Mhm.
down to 3.
I
Um,
There's still good potential there, but I still want the number 1 overall pick.
yeah, yeah, being able to have the number 1, you can kind of, you can pick your guy.
But I
And
feel like we can still get Kyle Hamilton or one Kayvon Thibodeau maybe or Hutchinson because one of those 2 are definitely gonna go overall, first overall. There's no doubt there.
oh yeah, yeah. So
Mhm.
I mean, at 3 overall, we, I'm like 95% sure we would get, one of the 2
Mhm.
of either Kavion or Aiden.
Mhm.
Honestly, I'd be fine with either one.
I'd be fine with Hamilton
Personally, I
too.
would rather have Hutchinson, but
Uh, I I still haven't made my official decision on who I like more yet, but it I mean, we're definitely gonna talk about it a lot more
yeah, yeah, we will. We
before
will.
draft, but it's interesting. That's for sure.
Yeah. Um, let's see. Who do Okay, so Jacksonville plays Tennessee this week.
That's a loss.
That's an L.
Mhm.
Um, and then Houston plays
It doesn't matter who Houston plays, let's be honest.
Houston plays Seattle. That's a loss.
Yeah, that's a loss.
So,
So, if it depends on this game, I don't expect to win, but we'll see. What is
yeah.
one thing you think that's gonna happen in this game against Denver?
Oh gosh. Yeah, I'm gonna say Amon-Ra has he'll have another touchdown at least, and
Mhm.
he'll break 100 receiving yards.
That's pretty bold. I'm not sure about that personally. We'll see though. I I think that I think Javonte Williams will break 150 rushing yards. It's pretty bold, but I mean, I don't think our run defense has been very good this season, so we'll definitely see on that part.
No, our pass defense has definitely been better than our run defense,
I 100%
which is
agree.
saying something.
Yep.
Oh gosh.
Well, that's all we have to talk about today. I hope everyone has a great week and go
Oh,
Lions.
Lions.